sometimes an idea just hits you, and those are the best ideas. If you create mood boards and collect all kinds of inspirations, and you think that you're going to create something insane, I guess not, because you're trying so hard. Yeah, it always hits you out of nowhere, I guess.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jesse Nyberg Podcast. Today I have on a super talented graphic and fashion designer, Mona Thomas, and she's here today with her sister, Marlene, and a business partner. So how are you guys doing?
Hey, we're good. We're good. I had to emotionally prepare for this moment. I told you I was so nervous, but
yeah.
I'm just your emotional support.
No, that's not true, because I wanted to introduce her because I've always, most of my friends know me with her by my side. We do everything together. We're the same friends. Yeah. And it's actually more weird to see me by myself than to see us together. So, and I told you she would be sitting in the corner hiding.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So might as well bring her on.
Yeah.
So you guys are always together, pretty much?
Always. Since kindergarten.
We're like twins. Actually.
Yeah.
People used to call us twins in school, but we don't even look alike, I think. But yeah, we do everything together. We even went to the same class. We're not even the same age, but we were in the same class in school. We graduated at the same time.
Yeah, that's because you wanted to start school with 5 years. So
I wanted to start earlier. Yeah.
So where'd you go to school at?
We grew up in a small town near Frankfurt. That's it's the one city in Germany with a good airport. So people know it. Have you been there?
I have not, but I want to go there because I have that's where my ancestry is from, but I just don't know anything about it. Yeah.
Cool. Which city are you?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just I looked on the online and it said German and Swedish was my ancestors, but I don't know anything about it. But hopefully one day I'll go there and see what's going on.
Yeah, you should. But I always tell people they should go to Berlin.
Yeah.
I don't really vibe with Berlin, but it's the techno city, and it's got more stuff for sightseeing.
Yeah, all my friends that are into house and all that, they're obsessed with Berlin, and when they went there they were only supposed to go for a month, and they stayed there for 6 months playing shows and going to raves and stuff.
I always wanted to do a rave in Berlin. I've never done that before, but what people don't know is that the whole techno scene originally comes from Frankfurt.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool. What was the school called?
Which school?
That one you went to in Frankfurt, right?
We didn't go to our school in Frankfurt. We went to a smaller town, a suburb, something like that, and Hofheim.
Well, that's called kind of. Hofheim. You can call it our high school.
Oh, I see.
It's in high school. Yeah, that's where we graduated, and then we went on to study different types of things.
Yeah, that was the point where we kind of separated. You went to art school, and I went to business school, and
but before that, we've always been together, and also we still live together, so we didn't ever really go different. Yeah.
What how'd you kind of start then? If you went to art school, can you give me a little bit on your background as a designer? How was that going to school, and what kind of stuff were you studying?
At art school, you mean?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff I did? I applied at the graphic design field of my school, where it's actually called communication design. Or visual
that's how mine was too.
Yeah, and when I applied there, I thought that we would learn how to, make posters and stuff, and that's true. But when I got there and when I was accepted, they changed the name into art. So what I was studying is actually art. So I'm also studying with a lot of people who, do performance art or sculpture and stuff. And but we do have graphic design classes and stuff. And that's what I studied there. But I don't even, I haven't been there in a very long time.
Yeah.
I haven't really, so I don't know if I'm still a student, but I haven't really graduated yet.
I feel you. I mean, I don't think you really need to, if seeing all the stuff you're doing. And I feel like with the fashion and product design that you do, I noticed that, like you must have a background in like design and type and stuff, because it's very apparent in your work. Like not only do you have really cool like pieces and like with the jackets and the glasses, but everything from the logo to the little badges to the stickers, like you can really tell that your actual like graphic design too is just as good as like anyone else, which it's exciting because usually you don't get both, you either get good garments or good graphic design, but to see them both together is cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very helpful that I'm a graphic designer as well, when I actually design accessories and stuff like that. But I think I don't see myself as a fashion person at all, actually. The reason why I'm doing so many accessories at the moment, or like garments, is actually because I don't have the resources to design cars and buildings and stuff, I wish I could do that, and I probably will, but I'm like, at this point, I'm still doing, accessories.
You got to start small, and then you can build it up all the way to buildings.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, that didn't start in like art school at all. It started way before that. So like probably like as a kid, because I mean, that started for all of us, for every creative. I think that's where it starts to develop. You don't just wake up one day and decide that you want to be a graphic designer or anything like that, right?
Right. I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not something you do for fun. It's just it's your passion, I guess.
Right. When did you start like Huni, like the actual company, and start releasing products out of there?
Officially, I think in 2018 was the year that I had the idea for the shades. I don't know if you know the original Huni shades. It's the one that had shaped like the graffiti S. And, I remember that night that I had the idea, and I had no idea what that I would turn it into something real, that I would turn it into a product or something like that. But I had the name for my brand. I had designed it way before then. I think I developed it in 2017. It was another school project where they the task was to create a product and create a campaign around it,
Yeah.
And then shoot it and pretend like you're like a big brand or something. And my idea, I wanted something to look like it was something like Nike,
Right.
So I just didn't know what the name should sound like, or so I just decided to use my nickname. My sister called me Huni at the time. It always switches, but back then it was Huni. And so I used that, and I had no idea that I would one day use it for an actual brand. Back then I was just pretending to be a brand,
right. Yeah. Why did you call her that? What does that like name mean?
I think it kind of developed. It was from Mona to Moni, and then it kind of came to the word Huni. And I don't know, it was just some crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool in my mind.
It's actually in German. Huhn is chicken.
All right.
And sometimes she would call me Huhn, like chicken.
I remember. Chicken, yes.
And I think that's where it actually comes from. And a lot of Americans, they think it's honey or something like that.
Yeah,
honey. It's up to you. You can say whatever you want.
I feel like it's cool that way though, because it's almost like free marketing when you have like an ambiguous name like that, because it's like people talk about it like, what is it, this, is it this, and even if they're saying it wrong, they're still talking about it. So that's a good thing, because people are
like the French luxury brands, nobody can pronounce their name correctly, but that's what makes it so high end,
Right. It's
so
funny,
special.
the glasses, I think the reason that they did so well originally is because that S is like so nostalgic to everyone in our age range. And I remember everyone just like drawing that in school, on the notebooks and everything. And it's just so cool to see it like in glasses like that. How did you, is that why you kind of thought of that idea? Was that the inspiration for it?
I mean, I couldn't explain to you what hit me in that moment, but sometimes I sat on that couch and I had this idea, and then I just spent the night drawing it. And I was new to Blender and stuff, but I made one of my first 3D renders of the shades in that night, and the next day I posted it. But I can't tell you. I mean, of course, I drew that thing when I was a kid. I even have a picture of myself when I drew it.
On vacation.
Yeah. Like
at the pool.
It just hit me.
Yeah. That's how some of the best stuff is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's cool.
There's
and
no big story to it, actually. It's just sometimes an idea just hits you. And those are the best ideas. If you create mood boards and collect all kinds of inspirations, and you think that you're going to create something insane, I guess not, because you're trying so hard. Yeah, it always hits you out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah, and were you always kind of interested in using like that style of like plastic and stuff? Because I noticed that throughout a lot of your work, you use that like acrylic or plastic. And can you kind of take me through like why you use that specifically?
That's because my dad has been working with that material since, I don't know, for like almost 30 years. Because he has a workshop, and I can always go there and create stuff. There's all the machines. People always wonder what is his job actually. What does he do? He's a model maker. I don't know if that's the right word in English. That's when like architecture offices need somebody to create a model of their building. And he does that. He's been doing that for 30 years almost. And
wow,
he's one of the best in Germany.
That's cool.
So we've spent our childhood in his workshop sometimes, and just played with the materials and built some stuff. So I've always been close to like acrylics. And so when I had the idea for the shades, I knew that I could just immediately go to his workshop and we could create that. The only difficult part was the hinges, because we don't just have hinges lying around, in our workshop. We had to order them and try them out. How do they work? We had to get into that, but it worked.
That's so nice having that resource and luxury to be able to have an idea and like actually go to your dad's space and be like, oh, I need these materials, make it real quick. Like rather than, since you have that, you can actually just have the idea and like go there right away and not have to worry about like sourcing all this special stuff. And I used to work at an intern at an architect office, and the models, some of the guys that built the models, and it's so impressive. It's crazy how small everything is too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best thing when you have a place that you can actually go to and build things, and not because everything is so digital nowadays, and it's still, people still long for things that they can touch, I feel like. And even though we're all like getting, better every day using 3D software. It's a good thing to do that.
Yeah. Do you use a lot of, so like, what's the process like when you think of a new accessory or something, you go from sketch to 3D render and then you go into the studio and mess with the materials?
Yeah, I mean, how do we do it? I usually the process is like either I have an idea that and I know exactly what I want it to look like in the end,
right?
Or I just feel like for example, I want to make a bag so bad. I've been wanting to make a bag for 2 years now, and I haven't. Like, okay, I have a bag in my shop, but it doesn't look the way I wanted it to look. It was the bag I have right now. It was created completely accidentally. It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, I didn't plan it. But yeah, I've been trying to make a bag out of leather, and so I just have this idea, and I just haven't had the time yet, to actually go and look for the right leather and to make that work. But that's how it starts usually, with just this vision of a product. And then you go into the workshop, and sometimes you have new materials. Sometimes I even started working with wood recently.
Cool.
And yeah, but leather, that's something I want to try, definitely. And because you can also put the leather on the machines and cut out stuff,
Yeah.
We have a milling machine and a laser cutting machine. And you usually, I think for leather, you would use the milling machine. I don't know, but I think so.
For the plastic, do you just do the laser cutter and then you basically just have it cut out like a vector shape, pretty much?
Yeah. All you have to do is you have to, I use Illustrator for that, actually.
Yeah.
And I turn it into a DXF or other name, like some vector file.
Right.
And that's how it goes. But they have a very old school software that they work with, and it's incredibly time consuming too, because often sometimes I have like a new logo or something, and it has an incredible amount of letters, and then all those letters have to be reshaped, you have to create the vectors all over again, because the software is very old and sometimes it can convert stuff, and it's
very time consuming. But
those machines are crazy. Like I was saying, when I worked at the office, they had one, I think it must have been newer though, because you were able to just piece out what you would do is piece out the Illustrator layers by like color, and then the machine would know blue is like this one, red is this one, whatever. But it's crazy to see, because it's like a big, glass, like crazy machine, and the laser's so fast. It's just like, shh, and it's cool to see it just like cut out like that. And it's definitely scary though, too, to kind of be around some of those machines sometimes.
It is, and it smells bad sometimes. It smells like you shouldn't smell it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's toxic. It smells very toxic, yeah.
Yeah.
When we spray stuff, and when we, the kind of the smokes, the fumes you shouldn't actually inhale them sometimes.
Right. With the colors, like I noticed you use a lot of that, like really, kind of neon, like green and pink and stuff. Are those colors just sourced from the same place, like your dad's studio? He just already has those kind of acrylic, or are you getting those from somewhere?
When we started out and we wanted to make the shades, there were a few of those neon acrylic sheets that no one ever used, because he's a model maker, and the text, they don't need a neon acrylic model. So so there have been acrylic sheets that haven't been touched for like 30 years or so. Some are still from the 70s, because people in the 70s had those acrylic sheets. It's actually nothing futuristic. It's been there for years. So and I've always known that they were there, but it's kind of like I've always waited for the right thing, the right project to work something out with it. But before the shades, we've always been there and created stuff. I think we also did something there way before that had something to do with the S, with the graffiti S.
Was it also a school project?
I think it was a school project, yeah. But anyway.
That's awesome though that, to me, and I'm sure to other people, that green and those colors have kind of become part of like the Huni like style in a sense. And it's kind of funny that, no one was using them. So you kind of had the biggest supply of those colors just for you to use since no one else wanted them.
Yeah. Neon was very big like in 2018 and stuff.
Yeah.
So, right?
Rainbow stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I remember, my rainbow shades. I always call them rainbow shades, but they're like an iridescent sort of material. And I had never seen that before. So when my dad, because he usually, when he orders new material, he gets like samples of some weird stuff. And then he showed me this one sample. And I knew that this was going to change everything. Yeah. And I'm still using it. I actually love it more than any of the translucent, the neon ones, because it's just such an unpredictable material. You have like, it changes its color all the time.
Yeah, it's cool. All the different angles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Would you say that the back to like the S shades, would you say that when you released that and it kind of started picking up traction, was that kind of like a big moment for you in getting recognition and kind of people finding out about you?
Yeah, I think that's the point where everything changed for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said before that I have created stuff way before that.
Right.
But I never got the attention. And all of a sudden, it was like, it wasn't a big hype, but it was a small hype, for me at least. Because suddenly I had people from all over the world reaching out to me. I had like artists that I admire reach out to me. And,
that's cool.
And wanting to wear my stuff. That was, and before that, I didn't have that at all.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about how it was designing the skateboard, because that was like really impressive to look at.
The skateboard was just another idea that I had. And I usually can't explain my ideas. It's just something hits me and then I need to go into the workshop and create it,
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't explain it. It's just that we don't have these wheels lying around in the workshop. You have to go to a certain store to get them. But we did, and then we made it. I think because I usually show like 3D rendered animations of my products sometimes, and then also an actual product that I made. Right. And I think with this piece, I created the 3D animation afterwards in the 3D rendered product. So it's not like I created an animation first, or I created this piece in 3D first to see what it looked like, because it was created in the workshop and not digitally,
So it's kind of the a lot of, it's like the backwards kind of, you made the entire product and then you went back and did the 3D render to post online and stuff.
Exactly.
Cutting that out, like that shape, did you design the actual like shape, or did you just kind of like, what was the what's the question, like what was the shape you were you going for a specific shape when you first set out to design the board, pretty much, of the deck?
Yeah, I mean, I remember drawing it in Illustrator, right?
Yeah.
That's where I created the shape, and I just kind of liked the shape, and then there's no real thought behind it. It's just a dynamic thingy. Or what do you mean by shape?
I guess like I think it was like a cool shape, and I always wondered, designing skateboards, it seems like a whole different, challenge from just designing like an accessory, because someone has to actually be able to stand on it, if they want to ride it or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean whether it's like realistic or whether, if a skater would probably be like, you can't skate on that piece. It's not possible. It's also very heavy.
Oh, really?
But but I said that in the beginning. I said, this is not an actual like skateboard. Right. I can't skate.
Where'd you get the
this
parts
is just
from?
a concept. Sorry, what?
Where'd you get the parts from, like the trucks and the wheels and everything?
There's a skate shop in Frankfurt that I go to, that I went to, and we bought a whole skateboard there, and then separated the pieces or the parts.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
cool.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
I feel so like I felt it was like a disrespect towards the skating community when I put that together, because it's so unrealistic,
Yeah.
I think because we made a collab skateboard with Club Fantasy, which is a brand based in LA, and then we sent that sample out to LA where they shot the campaign, and I think there were like 2 skater models, and they stood on it. They really stood on this board.
And it didn't break.
It didn't break.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good to know that it survived, survived the photo shoot of people riding it.
I wasn't brave enough to do that. I didn't even stand on this board for
Yeah.
once.
Speaking of that, like I know Club Fantasy and they have some cool stuff, and I've seen that you've done other types of collaborations. And what was like the most exciting or fun collaboration that you've done in the past?
I think a collaboration that was fun to me was the one with Adidas. People say Adidas.
Yeah.
People in Germany say Adidas. That's actually how you say it here. That one was great because it was such a big thing to me to have to be working also with a team, an all-female team.
That's cool.
Something special. Yeah, and it was a very cool and comfortable, atmosphere. Working atmosphere, and that was something that I was really excited about. And another collaboration that I'm super excited about hasn't even started yet in this with a young designer that's actually still graduating high school, graduating from high school this year. And I just found his Instagram a few weeks ago, and I thought he's only sketching ideas on paper, and he hasn't actually built anything or made a garment yet. But he's super talented, and I asked him if he wanted to collaborate, and he said yes.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for that.
That's
he's still
exciting.
So young. He's like 17 or something.
Wow. That probably, like, it's funny because, for you to Adidas, it's probably how he felt like working with you. Like, even it's Adidas, you and him, and you're reaching out to him. He was probably really excited about that. And that's cool. Like, I remember talking with people that I looked up to when I was like 17, and if they were to just reach out to me like, yo, this is cool, like let's work on this, that would have been really exciting. I wanted to ask about the Adidas thing. So, cause that was really recent. I remember seeing you kind of post about that. Yeah. Were you working with the team actually like in person, or were you just doing stuff in your own spaces?
I'm always in my own spaces. I mean, especially due to the pandemic, we're always kind of stuck here in our little small town in a way. But I mean, we do Zoom meetings all the time, and we're not so isolated, But it was cool to just meet the team, because we were working with an agency in London, and they were super nice. Cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, Adidas, working with Adidas, I talked with a designer on my last podcast. It's not out yet, so or I guess it'll be out by the time this comes out, but Adidas, Nike, like there's these specific brands that, you know, having that logo or like that brand in your portfolio, it's just like really cool. And it's almost like a little badge or like an achievement, you know?
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times, that like when you've worked with Nike, then you know that you've made it, you know, but I think that's going to change, I think.
Yeah.
One day, I guess. But I think it's still that way. I mean, I still remember when I made those Nike shades.
Yeah.
It's actually like, you know, the acrylic shades that I always do, but the front is shaped like the swoosh, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then we created like a whole campaign shoot around it with some friends of mine who are in LA. Chris Pearson was such an amazing art director.
Yeah.
And I remember when we posted the photos, the final photos, and we tagged Nike and stuff, and because we did the whole thing just to gain their attention. You know?
Right.
But we just wanted to see if that would make them, you know, kind of reach out all of a sudden. And they did. They did.
You know, getting that actual recognition, I'm sure there's tons of people that have put in a lot of work into some kind of like, it's almost like a spec work, you know, and then it doesn't turn into anything. So it's cool to like that you actually got attention and eyes on it and everything. I wanted to ask your sister, like what kind of stuff you do with Huni to like in the whole operation of it.
Well, I'm just working with Huni for a couple of months, but I'm trying to support Mona with the management part and the production part, kind of. And I've worked in former businesses also in the project management part, and I guess that's what I can do very good. And I think there's kind of a, you say symbiosis or something like that?
Symbiotic or whatever.
I mean, she's the creative, symbiotic. Okay, she's the creative part. I'm more the organized part, and I guess that's working perfectly together. And that's what I do. Yeah,
that's good because, you know, the more of that stuff that you could do, the more time you have to make things, and when you're creating, you'll have a freer mind because you're not going to have to worry about dealing with, because no one likes to do that stuff if they're trying to do the design or the creative or the art direction, because when you're doing it all yourself, you always have to think of that in the back of your head, and it may cause like, you know, it just may cause like a block.
Yeah, it still is kind of tricky. I mean, Mona is still the head of her Instagram account, and wants to answer all her messages by herself. And I'm still trying to take that a little bit away from her so she can focus on her creative projects. But I mean, it's a process, and we're getting there, I think.
Yeah.
But you're not going to answer my DMs.
I'm not, okay.
When it's about business, yes. But like, yeah, you know what I mean? She's really taking care of like a lot of like email stuff,
requests from retailers and so on. Yeah,
that's cool. What I wanted to ask you too, so you obviously have Huni, and I think it's like I really like the brand, and I really like all the stuff that I've seen, and I'm also new to it. Jack from the Album Art Archive, he's who kind of connected me with you, and ever since I was like, damn, like I really like this stuff. But I was looking on your page and it said about like commissions, and I was just wondering, what other, do you still do other kinds of things like for that aren't through Huni?
Yeah, of course, because like I created Huni basically to get more commissions. You know, like I wanted to be a graphic designer, and so in order to get jobs and to get clients, I had to create this brand, you know?
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, I didn't even want to have a brand, and I kind of, you told me that I should just do it, you know, because I didn't want it. But yes, of course, I'm a graphic designer, and I do logos and stuff like that. I recently did the cover art for T-Pain's new single.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was actually something I was proud of that.
That was like the with like the like type, right? It was like the kind of red, like wavy type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's do you ever get approached by maybe artists or just individuals that want you to create them some kind of accessory or garment like just for them?
I get these types of messages all the time, but not from like celebrities.
Right.
But some people think that like they sometimes they have an idea and they reach out and they're like, "Hey, can you make this for me?"
Yeah.
But I can't. Of course, like, yeah. But sometimes that's an opportunity for collaboration. You know, if the idea is good, then it could be like a teamwork thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that some artists, did approach me for because I'm also doing merch.
Right.
Of course. I'm currently designing some hoodies and stuff. So, yeah, for a new band.
For a German. Is it a rock band or a metal
it's
band?
A metal band, but
metal band.
It's not metal. It's like it's a new type of metal.
New metal or whatever.
New metal.
That's cool. Yeah. I like, speaking of merch, I mean, I was like looking when you were releasing those crew necks, like I saw a lot of people that I follow posting about them and everyone was really excited. And I remember I was like contemplating like maybe I should get one. And then by the time I looked, they were all gone instantly. Like you really have that. You've already built up, you know, that kind of like reputation where you got to get there like when it's coming. It's going to be gone.
That was actually the craziest moment for us, more than the shades or anything, because we hadn't expected that at all, you know. But it makes total sense, you know, because I've kind of gained a community through weird stuff, through shades and stuff like that. And some people don't buy that, you know. Some people, you don't wear that every day.
Yeah.
But if it's a garment like a hoodie or a sweater, that's something that you should wear or you would wear.
Right.
You know, so yeah, it makes total sense to me why it was gone so quickly. That's
cool. Do you have any anything coming up garment wise that you're going to be releasing soon?
Oh yeah. I'm currently designing the ideas on Illustrator, and I'm putting the tech packs that you're sending out to productions. And yeah, currently in the process of probably gonna release something new this fall. Probably something's gonna restock. And something new is coming too. Yeah. Yeah,
that's cool because you know, it's good. Like once you've built that, you've obviously seen that you can succeed in releasing a garment like that. So it's good to keep up the momentum, you know, because you know if you release something else, sell out. I think I see a lot of people. They become kind of like too, what's the word? Like complacent. Like once they get a successful thing, they're like, oh, I'll just ride that for a while, you know, instead of like, you want to just keep it moving. That way you keep getting more and more stuff out and, you know, stay in like the big culture zeitgeist or whatever.
Yeah. I have an idea for a couch that I want to make.
What? That's cool.
I want to do that, you know. I want to make a couch. I wanted to make a perfume. Last year I had an idea for a perfume, but it's so hard sometimes to some things are just difficult to make.
Was that the spray can one?
Yeah.
That was cool. The graphics for it, at least.
Right. And then you know, I also wanted to smell good, you know. That's also something, it's a design thing, you know. Smell is something that's also kind of important to me, you know, like, is it called smell?
Yeah. Fragrance, smell, I don't know, whatever.
It sounds like a bad word. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of like with the sweater, you know, you want it to look cool and you want people to like it, but you also want it to feel good and you want to be warm in it. You don't want it to just be like for looks only, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I wanted it to be super soft. And that's the first thing people always tell me when they get the sweater, that it's like the softest thing.
Yeah.
So
is it just you two doing all the like fulfillment and shipping and tagging everything and all that?
It's actually my whole family. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the last time that we did that was when was it? Like, I think the beginning of April. I had my grandma here doing all the shipment, the packaging, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we did that together with her because she got so excited, you know, and she wanted to help, and I love that, you know, when we all get together, and it's such a family business all of a sudden, you know. I have my dad that I can go to in the workshop, and then my mom is kind of my accountant.
Yeah,
that's also super important because I can't handle. I've always been terrible in math, so.
Yeah, that's really cool that you have, you know, like not only does your family like are supportive and like believe in like what you're doing, because a lot of people their parents may not really think that like design or art is like a real thing that people should be doing, you know, they want it to be safe. But not only do you have that, but they're actually willing to help in like the operation. You got the manager, the materials with your dad, the grandma shipping everything. Like sometimes that's cool.
The thing is, that's because my parents are designers too, but they've never had the chance to actually become designers, you know. My mom works at the airport and my dad is a model maker. But he had the craziest ideas back in the 80s. He made his own clothes. So it's in my DNA, actually. They found each other through, you know, they made their own clothes together. And then they went to the clubs and partied wearing their own stuff. That's basically what we're doing now. So I feel like that's why they're so supportive and kind of that's
end up living their dream.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's teamwork also.
Yeah. And it's cool because they obviously know, like, with their skills and knowledge and design and things, whether or not they're like practicing it like as a career, they know that it's an option, and they know that like having parents like that, seeing that like when they say like, oh, your work is good, it's not just like they actually have something to reference, you know, like they know what is good and what may not be good. It's not just like some parents will just be like, yeah, that's good no matter what, you know. You could be making bad stuff.
They can be super critical too. I don't know, like how do your parents judge your work? Do they judge your work?
I mean, not really. Like my mom, because my mom actually passed away like in the past like 2 or like a year ago, but even when she was around, like she didn't really know what I was doing. Like she knew I did design, but my dad too, like when people ask him, he's like, oh, like he just like, I think he makes posters or something. Like they don't really know like what design is, you know. They're kind of just like for a while my mom would always say like, oh, he's an artist, and then all her friends would be like, oh, like art, that's like, you got to be careful, he's going to be like broke or whatever. And I would tell her like, yeah, maybe, but it's not, it's different. Like I have a job, it's design, and like I'm doing real things. One thing that was cool was it wasn't the most exciting, I don't think, like creatively, but when I was working at my last job, I had we released some new products. So I created like the billboards that were all over LA for the new products. And the design was like fairly simple. It was kind of just like, you know, big product images and typography. But just having that in LA, like it made people actually, like people were taking pictures like and sending it to me, which that was cool because that was just something I did on my normal job at 2:00. And then next thing you know, it's just out like in downtown and everything.
Okay, and that's when you kind of got the recognition, like, oh, he's doing something serious, and then like,
yeah,
oh,
even though other stuff that I did was way more important, it's just when you see, like, I think people don't understand sometimes when things are just online, it has a different feeling than when someone sees something in person, even if it's something as small as a sign on a window, you know. Once you print it, it's real.
Absolutely. That's weird. When it's printed, it actually reaches the older generation more, and that's when they recognize it as something respectable, something serious, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say anything bad. My grandparents have been super supportive too. So.
Yeah, and that's good because I think that, you know, a lot of people don't have that sometimes, and it's good that, you know, and having that design background from your family, it's kind of hard to say like how much it influenced you. You know, it's a lot of people, like, they're not even exposed to design, or they don't even know it's an option, but you had two parents that like knew about that and kind of gave you the knowledge and influenced you to like pursue your dreams, even though you were saying that like some of your people in school were like, oh, that's like, I don't know, but you knew that it was good and you kept going with it, which was really good.
Yeah. I'm super grateful for that, because I don't know if I would be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't have that, you know. And also all the things that inspire me is actually stuff that they showed me, or most of the stuff that they showed me. It's I know what a true blessing that is.
Yeah, that's really cool. One last thing I wanted to ask you is there anything, I know you said you have a few things, but is there anything specific you can talk about that's exciting that's coming up, maybe that you're going to work on or release or anything like that?
Okay. Wait, I'm trying to think of anything that I'm trying to remember what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
That's hard. Wait.
And if it's like, it doesn't have to either. If it's a secret, I don't want you to let out anything. That's.
Oh, there are going to be clothes. I'm working on clothes, and they're going to look special. Well, oh yeah, we're trying to make a ring.
Oh, really?
That's something that's been on my mind for so long, but I haven't had the time to do it. So yeah, the ring is coming, and the collaboration with Benjamin, that's his name.
With the high school student.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I don't know.
There's so much.
I can't tell you what's going to happen in 3 months.
That was the Huni part, but there's also your graphic design part there.
I'm also always going to drop some new logos for all my clients, you know. Yeah. That's also fun to me, so yeah.
That's really exciting, and I'm excited to see what you do as a designer with your commissions, freelance, and with Huni and everything. And I want everyone, go check out Huni if you haven't, and check out Mona. Her work is really good, and I appreciate you talking with me. And if you want to hear more, check out the Patreon for the Q&A. But thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you to your sister as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye.